As soon as Jielin saw the flower, she was drawn toward it, walking forward as if under a spell. Seeing her like this, our hero, Fang Yi, immediately realized that she was not in her right mind. She had been enchanted. Without hesitation, he created a fireball and hurled it toward Jielin. From behind, Jielin suddenly felt the fireball rushing toward her. She instantly recognized that this was an extremely powerful and very rare Yon attribute energy. Feeling its pressure, she immediately turned back and struck. The fireball came at her, but she stopped it in midair. With a slightly serious expression, she looked at our hero. At that moment, she understood what had just happened, and thought to herself, is my preparation still not enough? Just then, Lin Yi arrived and asked, Sister Jaxing, are you all right? Beside her, Su Clan stood with a serious expression and said, you are heavily influenced by the dark attribute. Is better. We stayed here together. In reply, Dylan did not say much. She only nodded her head with a quiet yes. At that moment, someone else said, the Shichi flower, it's enough if he goes. Ignoring all their words, our hero, Fang Yi, continued moving forward into the fog of dark attribute energy. Nothing could be seen inside that darkness. Step by step, Fang Yi entered deeper and deeper. And after a while, he finally saw the flower. However, as he advanced, the ground around him began to crack. And from those cracks, a dark attribute monster emerged, rushing to attack him. From within the monster, terrifying screams of different souls echoed. The moment he saw it, Fang Yi activated his divine thunder. With his thunder skill, he struck the monster with a single blow, gravely injuring it. The monster writhed and struggled in pain. Looking at it, Fang Yi thought, this ox. Demon, just how many abnormals has it devoured to mutate like this? Is it another's rank? I must end this quickly. Take the Shiki flower, and return. There isn't much time left to seal the dark tide. Fang Yi raised his hand and laughed, saying, so, you're not dead yet. Fine, let me test my hand on you. As he said this, he used the dark attribute energy he had obtained a little while ago, trapping the monster within it. Caught inside that dark attribute, the monster fell into illusions, and began to struggle violently. Soon, horrifying screams echoed from within it. At that very moment, a notification from the system appeared before Fang Yi. Due to the influence of the special dark attribute from the infinite dark realm, the level 5 abnormal half-corrupted fox demon has been downgraded to only SSS rank. After fully restraining the monster, he drew out his sword and said, it actually dropped 2 ranks in one strike. Looks like the so-called smank abnormals of this extreme darkness are not that solid in their foundation. Infusing Yon attribute energy into his sword, he unleashed a fiery attack upon the monster. Meanwhile, outside, his teammates could see nothing of the battle. A dark-colored sphere blocked their view completely. Feeling the energy inside it, Su King became very serious and said, what is this? This dark aura. Is it dark attribute? But it doesn't feel exactly the same. Standing beside her, Lin Yi also spoke up. Yes, I don't sense that usual disgusting cold oppressive aura from it. Just then, Jielin, who was standing behind them, said seriously, that's because this is Fang Yi's domain. He has mastered the dark attribute, and without a teacher, created his own domain with it. As she said this, she thought to herself, using spiritual power to create a domain is an extremely difficult task. Until now, the only person capable of creating a domain space using his spiritual attribute was my teacher. Aside from him, at most 3 people in the world possess this ability. The other 2 are unknown, but it's believed they are in country. Back then, when it was predicted that the capital would face a catastrophic disaster, my teacher tried to suppress it with his domain. But as they were talking, the dark-colored sphere in front of them slowly began to dissipate. From within, Fang Yi appeared. Seeing someone emerge, everyone rejoiced and exclaimed, look, someone is coming out, and there he was. Clearly visible, Fang Yi. When he saw them, he waved his hand from afar, and said, all right, there shouldn't be any more trouble in this graveyard ahead. He then walked to the flower, plucked it and held it in his hand, thinking to himself, this should be fine. It's in perfect condition. Seeing this, Galen was slightly shocked, because despite all her past efforts, she had never succeeded. Yet, Fang Yi managed to achieve it in one attempt. Afterward, Fang Yi walked up to Galen, handed her the flower, and said, task complete. We need to leave immediately. The dark tide is unlike ordinary dark attribute abnormals, it can cause trouble at any moment. Galen took the flower with a smile and said, all right, thank you, Fang Yi. Without your efforts to turn the tide, this mission would have been impossible to complete. And thanks to everyone, let's head up. The group began moving forward and Jalen looked at Fang Ye with a smile, saying, Fang Ye, I truly thank you. Elder Wu, the only Vedra realm master of Xin. Nation is on the verge of death. The Shikui flower is his only life, saving medicine. You saved his life. Hearing her words, Fang Ye looked back at her silently. Soon, the entire team arrived at the portal gate. Seeing the portal, they were overjoyed, saying, finally, we see the light. We can escape from here alive. As they stepped through the portal, countless military soldiers stood outside, shouting excitedly, the Shikui flower. You really obtained the Shikui flower. When Sister Lan said it was retrieved, we didn't dare believe it. Everyone was stunned, wondering who the person who had found this flower was. The whole team was surprised to see so many people waiting. In front of them stood a military truck. Looking at it in disbelief, the team said, this is the vehicle of the Star God War Zone. The Star God War Zone, the absolute military power of Xia Nation, known to all without exception. They were stunned as the realization struck them. So, Shaylin is actually a high-ranking officer of the Star God War Zone. My god, they even argued with her earlier. After this came the Star God War Zone, ranked number 1 among the 10 great war zones of Xia Nation. Even during the era of peaceful development, it was already renowned nationwide. The strongest elite force, gathering the very best in both physical and intellectual talent. After the revival of spiritual energy, they gained even greater advantages. Not only were their resources abundant, but the restricted zones they guarded were also rare and invaluable cultivation grounds. The military soldiers were overjoyed upon seeing the flower. A senior officer from the military stepped forward, carefully placing the flower into a secure container. He then turned to look at the team. His eyes also fell upon Fang Yi. At that moment, all the military soldiers saluted Fang Yi with deep respect. The senior officer then approached Su Qingying and said respectfully, I will immediately send the Shikui flower to the hospital. Please don't worry. Hearing this, Su Qingying replied, all right, I'll come later. With that, the military truck departed, leaving behind only Fang Yi and Su Qingying standing there. Fang Yi then asked Su Qingying, you're from the Star God War Zone. To this, Su Qingying answered, your strength and performance have likely already spread throughout our war zone. Before long, you'll become a well-known figure, but I have to admit, your power alone is enough to crush even the strongest squads of our war zone. Besides, your potential is immense. I can't even see its limits yet. If you're interested, would you consider joining us? You have access to the very best cultivation resources. Oh, and by the way, for this mission, you, your teammate, and that Spirit Association squad, all of your bounty rewards will be doubled, she added. Fang Ye responded calmly, thanks for the reward. Even though I know you are the strongest in Xishan, I have my own cultivation methods and pace. So, as for joining, I'll pass. Su Qingying then explained, Fang Ye, with the world undergoing such drastic changes, what the nation values most, or fears the most are the dark attribute abnormals. Their numbers are multiplying rapidly, and in the future, the situation will only grow worse. Their range of influence will also keep expanding like malignant tumors capable of causing catastrophic consequences at any moment. That's why we must give everything we have to set up restricted zones to hold them back, while the Spirit Association also works tirelessly to guard and defend. I'm telling you this not to bind you with obligations or to pressure you morally. I just feel that someone as exceptional as you deserves to know the truth of these circumstances. Hearing her words, Fang Yi laughed lightly and said, I understand. If I encounter abnormals again in the future, even if strangers are involved, I will not stand by and do nothing. You can rest assured of that. Su Qingying listened to him and smiled softly as she looked at him. Then she took out a token and handed it to Fang Yi, saying, it was good meeting you, Fang Yi. I hope you'll accept this token. With this, you will be able to freely enter and leave any restricted zone for cultivation. The doors of the Star God War Zone will always be open to you. And one more thing.